This is Dabu7 with an update to the protests that were going on last night across the country. And primarily here in this clip, I want to talk about Portland. There was a massive presence of people hitting the streets in this area. And they ended up ruling this a riot. So what was a peaceful protest shifted to what they've labeled a riot. Now, it was in Seattle where 4 people were shot, kind of connected to the events that have been going on. But last night, the police saying that they had to deploy gas on the crowd. They had to deploy some kind of device that explodes in the air and basically rains down rubber bullets on everybody. They used several different measures to try to get the crowd to calm down, and people en masse all over the place confronting them. Some saying that the police were popping off shots just to try to stir stuff up. Here's an aerial shot. This is a GIF showing the smoke being deployed on the people. So smoke grenades and these rubber bullets deployed on the people. Now you can see here the people came out in mass. You can see some of the damage done here to one of the stores with broken glass. And you can see them arresting an individual here. Now, these are going to continue for some time. These protests are scheduled to last all the way up till January 20th, where thousands are expected to be in Washington, D.C., for the inauguration of Trump. There is also separate movements out here trying to push the agenda that Hillary can still take this thing through the Electoral College by December 19th. It's part of the little tactic that they're pushing out here. And for those that missed it, I have exposed the heart of what is causing a lot of this across the country. Now, when I say that, it does not mean there's not people that hate Trump that are not hitting the streets. There are people that don't like Trump that are joining this. Okay, it's like a magnet for it. But the heart of this, as I exposed yesterday and last night, is coming from funding from George Soros. We've seen it before. We've talked about Baltimore, Ferguson. Well, MoveOn.org, the Open Society, they are responsible for the funding. They are also responsible for paying these individuals across the country. Some of them are making $1,500 a week. Much less $15 an hour, they're making $1,500 a week with full benefits, 401k, the whole nine. So people can try to deny it all they want. There are paid protesters at the heart of this in every city, and they have been bussed in. All on the dime of George Soros. So these are going to continue the coming weeks into the weekend, for sure this weekend. I'm going to be live streaming the events out of Cincinnati, Fountain Square, tomorrow around noon. And we will make sure to update on all these events. People just not happy. I mean, when you have an election like this, you're going to have people that are on one side of the coin that are not happy because they feel that their candidate lost. And in this Illusion of Choice 2016, they have done a fine job of dividing the people right down the middle. And it's the one thing you need not let them do. And people are just letting them do it on a daily basis. So until we have a blue-collar individual, in my opinion, someone like me and you from the streets that's in the race, you ain't never going to win the race. You got to have a horse in the race, not connected, so to speak, with money by bloodline to these elites. None of it. None of it, none of it, none of it. Then maybe we'll get somewhere. But this is being fueled across the country. I wanted to make it clear, but the people coming out in mass up here in Portland, and like I said, some people just not happy. Doesn't mean that they're paid protesters, but at this point, we've proven the paid protesters are very real, and they're being bussed in by the hundreds and around the country by the thousands. So as these things start to progress, as peaceful protests turn into riots, we're going to have to look a little bit deeper at, what is at the heart of this. Yeah, you're going to have people that snap out, people that are pissed off all over the place, and people that have different reasons and opinions for doing so. But what you have to get to is the nucleus of that hate, you see. And, it was the mainstream media saying that Trump, and this is coming from someone that's not supporting either one of these candidates, because I think it's illusion of choice. But I seen what they did in terms of Trump and bashing Trump the whole way throughout the mainstream media, this whole nine. Now, listen to me. They've got all these people fired up, using at the heart some paid protesters. What happens? What would happen? Let's just say, if they did pull a switcheroo come the 19th and tried to slip Hillary in there on some crazy stuff. Then you would see the opposite. You would see Trump groups hitting the streets in mass. Then you would have two big units ready to clash in the streets while people at the top sit back and laugh, because this is order out of chaos, exactly what they wanted. I can't stress it enough. When George Soros has his fingerprints and his hands on things, you have got to pay attention. Doesn't matter if you like Trump or not. You cannot be feeding into their ultimate plan of divide and conquer in this country. It's exactly what they're doing. And he's the same mastermind that staged the invasion in Europe. So, eyes peeled in this situation. Like I said, we have Soros goons across the country throwing fuel on the fire. That does not mean that there's not people out here that just legitimately don't like Trump. It's attracting them like a magnet. I hope you see that. And this is where we sit. And hopefully, these things don't start to turn violent across the country. But there is a massive plan behind this, I'm warning you. Everyone stay vigilant out there. Make sure to join us here, Dabu77, for Underground World News Live tonight, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be sharing clips from across the country, updates to all these stories, and on Saturday around noon Eastern, keep your eyes peeled for live stream coverage coming from me. I'm going to be covering the anti-Trump protest out of Cincinnati. Going to be out there for a few hours, and who knows how that will go. Shout outs to everyone out there that's been sending me information, live feeds, to be able to keep people in the loop. Also, check out our recent sponsor here, the Essential Drugstore, for any of you out there looking to stock up on any medical goods, antibiotics, heart medicine, insulin for the diabetics out there. Chose to go with these guys so you guys would have that avenue to go down. And a shout out to everybody that's sending me information, dabu7@yahoo.com. As you guys can see here, on the 16th, Albany, and look at this. These are a list of big-time events across the country and across the globe. Dublin, Ireland, having one. We just witnessed one in Louisville last night. These are some of the latest. I'm going to continue to update with these events. Like I said, keep your eyes peeled for live streaming. Downtown Cincinnati tomorrow. Be running the streets. And eyes peeled, folks. This has been Dabu7, and this is Illuminati.